Yo guys, welcome back to the Tierlist video. We are going to be trying to finish it off. I got about halfway through in the last part. But yeah, let's start off by doing some adjusting of the ones we've already done. I had quite a few comments about it, and I don't know if I'll address them specifically, but I definitely had a think about, where I put some of them. So I would say the way that I think these should be ranked, in my opinion, is like the absolute best way of winning games in Vox Populi is like authority, world domination kind of strategies. I feel like that's probably always going to be the case, even with new patches and stuff, for quite a few reasons. So the first one is that it doesn't really rely on so many wonders or getting a religion. Because maybe you might be able to conquer them back, but also just generally you don't need like the economic boost, which is what most like wonders and religion give you, as opposed to the combat boosts. Then the next thing I would say is probably going to be stuff that gives you the ability to get a religion. There's a lot of powerful religions that you can make, and I guess this is going to depend on the patch how useful getting a religion is, because if it's on a patch where getting a religion is really difficult, then the ability to get you a religion is going to be like more important. So like say if Last Religion is going on turn 100, it might not matter so much whether you're playing as like Byzantium, because you probably would have got a religion anyway. But if religions are all going by like turn 80, then Byzantium suddenly becomes a really good civ, because it's like one of the best ways of actually getting you a religion. But even, despite that, getting an earlier religion allows you to get more beliefs that you actually want, because you'll get first choice, and allows you to actually do more of your religion if you're getting bonus faith. Because sometimes you can get a religion, but reforming it can be a bit of a nightmare if you don't have enough faith to do that, or getting anything out of it that you actually want to can often require you to spread it out. So or at least just not get pressured ridiculously by the other religions around you. You kind of have to spread it yourself. So yeah, religion is probably the second most important thing, and then third most important thing is going to be like other synergies, abilities, buildings that help you win the game without a religion. So I think that should be like the rank of how important, because each civ affects the game in different ways, but that's like how it should be ranked in terms of importance, in my opinion. So I will start by moving Austria down a bit. I actually might move them into B tier, to be honest, because I have to say that you would feel like you need a reasonable start to actually win with them. You don't get too much economic boost, because you actually end up having to spend money on the diplomatic marriages, which only start really helping you later on. The extra quest rewards is nice, but yeah, I feel like Arabia can stay A tier, though I may move them below Denmark, because Arabia gives you economic boost to help you actually get to late game, and you don't necessarily even have to play a tradition if the start is not there for you. And even if you don't get wonders, you'll still get the historic events. Attila, I think I'm going to move him down to B, even though it's a good authority civ. I guess we should then talk about what actually makes an authority civ better than another one. So, I would say that the most useful thing for authority civs is actually probably early science. I know culture is always nice, and I kind of always do bang on about culture, but realistically, tribute and imperium are like the best policies out of the authority tree. None of the other ones are that. Again, I mean, dominance is nice, but like you're always going to have these four at a reasonable time, even if you have no bonus culture. Getting through the finisher, you get some stuff, but it's not game changing. And then you probably are going to take fealty or something if you're just going normal authority stuff. And like all of them are decent, but none of them are really game changing. But I feel like what is game changing is getting to gunpowder. I mentioned in the units video, cannons are really, really good. They completely destroy castles, and you have a decent amount of time between gunpowder and rifling to get stuff done. So I feel like this is generally where, if you haven't managed to conquer anyone early, which sometimes it's not possible to do, then gunpowder is normally the window for you to do that. I mean, if you're doing boats, navigation and some of the later ones is nice as well. But I feel like for land units, gunpowder is probably the best. So, the unique tercios, I actually think are very good units in general, because it's a great timing. You need infantry to reinforce your cannons. So having a unique tercio is really nice on an authority civ. I'm not a huge fan of the spearmen. I feel like it can get you a conquest early, but conquering someone early is probably not as good as conquering someone in Renaissance, because if you're conquering them this early, they won't actually have anything. So you're basically just getting a kind of empty city that you'll have to build up yourself anyway. And if you're going bronze working, you're delaying all the other techs that you need up here, so you might not get terracotta army, which is super nice for the future. If you're thinking about Great Library, that's not going to happen. Angkor Wat you won't get, which synergizes really well with the tribute policy. I know it's only one tech, but it does feel like it slows you down quite a bit actually, particularly in terms of getting to terracotta army. So yeah, even though there are some good unique spearmen, I would say unique tercios are really good. Unique siege weapons can be very nice for helping you do damage to the cities. And yeah, I get Pictish warriors I don't necessarily count as spearmen, because they're almost like a unique warrior, because you get them from mining, and you don't have to go bronze working, and mining is obviously very quick to get from the start. So yeah, early science and then late game culture is really good. Obviously you have to be there, and you have to be able to actually get your culture yields, probably from conquering and stuff. But getting into authority is a big or autocracy is a big game changer for authority strats as well. There's really good policies right at the start of it, and yeah, you definitely want to get them. They can allow you to win wars even if you're a tech behind. Laban's Realm is ridiculous. If anyone's watching the Zulu playthrough, oh my god. We didn't really need it, but there are games. I think the Poland game, I used it to just completely destroy a tradition civ that was quite a few techs ahead. So yes, that's what I would say about authority strategies. Missile cavalry and archers are not as good as melee units and siege weapons. And then melee boats I do think are pretty good as well. But none of these missile archers or missile cav, none of them are particularly better than any of the units in their era. So even the unique units tend not to be that spectacular. And they don't do good damage to cities. And you can't use them to tank for your siege weapons, which do good damage to cities. So it's always kind of an issue. And when there's only a certain amount of units you can have, generally infantry and siege weapons, the most efficient army to have. And yeah, supply limit definitely can be an issue. And if you're doing horse stuff, you need horses for every single horse unit you have, which you generally tend to need a lot of, whereas infantry you can spam out, and from here on they don't need iron, which is very good. It means you can sell it as well. Strategics are worth a lot. Okay, right, that's enough talking about that, I think. Let's just move some stuff about. So I'm going to move America down. I don't think it has as good enough synergies to help it, and I don't think there's one particular strat that's particularly good. I'm going to move Greece up to bottom of B. Yeah, the Hoplite actually has 14 combat strength, which is quite a bit, and the unique amphitheatre does give you a lot of culture. It's more than Terracotta Army. But despite that, I'm still going to leave it at bottom of B because I don't like having to go for drama and poetry, and like I said, conquering early is not quite as good. And when you have a unique spearman, you have to upgrade them through pikemen, which are absolutely garbage. So you kind of have this whole era where it's a bit useless. I prefer Assyria because, like I said, they give the bonus science, and the siege tower is quite nice. Yeah, Attila I moved down because it uses horse archers, so like horse archers and then horses, so you need loads of horses to make it work, and it's generally not as good for conquering cities. But I think it's still good enough to be top of B, just because the combat bonuses are really nice in wars. Okay, yeah, America is down. England, I don't really know to put. Yeah, I'm going to move Iroquois up. The Mohawk warrior doesn't need iron, so that's very nice for them. And I think makes it a bit better than the Indonesian swordsman. China I'm going to move above Germany. As someone said, China does feel decently to play, and I can't ignore that fact that when you play China, you feel like you're in a reasonable position. Just the food does help you have a nice start. And I'm going to move Germany down to F, actually. I had a look through my games, and I was trying to see how many allies and city-state friends that I had in the early game, and it wasn't that many. And I don't feel like, I'm sure I was trying to get as many as I could anyway, because missions are generally worth doing, so I doubt I could have had more than that. And the fact that you kind of have to get late game for the other stuff, and it doesn't help you get city-state allies, I think is going to put it in F. And I will move France up to D, because, like I said, unique tercios are very nice. The musketeers do seem very powerful. I'm sure you could have some fun with them. And I've been brainstorming some strategies that I hope could actually work with them. I think they require you to play slightly differently. I'm still going to leave them at the bottom of D because I think you need to be snowballing to have a great game with them, and they don't give you any bonus science. And I just don't think the chateau is that great. Okay, next civs. So I'm going to do them differently from now. I'm going to put it straight in where I think it is and then explain why. Japan is going to go in A for me. It's actually a little bit similar to France. So, civilizations and leaders. Japan. Bit of extra culture and faith from defense and military training buildings, so walls, barracks, armories, all that stuff. It's okay. I don't think it's enough to help you get a religion. Synergizes with God of Protection, but yeah, that's can be a tough one to actually get a religion with. I feel like you still need more faith than that, unless you want to go tradition, which I don't really think is necessarily correct. I think you do want to be authority with these guys. So yeah, even though that is alright, but I don't give it big marks just because I don't think it's enough to go from no religion to religion. When a great admiral or general is born, receive great artist, writer and musician points in your capital. So similar to the France one, except when you get a great general or admiral instead of when you conquer a city. Getting great generals and admirals is more consistent though, because you can just have wars that you don't necessarily make great progress in, but you can still get a great general from that. So you can start getting this a bit earlier. If you're not having such a good game, you should still be able to get some of these. And it does start racking up quickly to get you a lot of culture later on. Other thing is that what you need to get to is dojos and samurais, which are both located at steel, so earlier than gunpowder, and they make nice upgrades into tercios and stuff. So the samurai, you get more great generals, obviously helps with the ability, you get the cover like long swordsman, and get promotions 50% faster. They do require iron, and I think they have one more combat strength than a long swordsman. Then you get these dojos, unique armories, I think extra military supply cap increase, 5 more experience, I think. I think armories normally only give 20. And then the 8 virtues of Bushido promotion. So you get culture and science for promotions, and you basically get a free promotion. And the promotion is stuff like, kind of like there's a medic promotion, I think. There's like a plus something attack, I think. Really. Basically, it's like 15% bonus or something like that. They're reasonable, and they fight stronger when they're wounded as well. I think that's on all of them. So like all of the different promotions give that as well. So some good promotions, and it's a very clear timing that you need to go for. You just need to head towards steel, get your armories, get your longswordsmen, start warring people. Even if you can't conquer stuff, you can get some great generals to help with your culture, and then hopefully with gunpowder at least, you should be able to start conquering. So I think it's reasonable. Like, it's really powerful once it gets going, but I can't put it higher than A because the start is not amazing. You don't get a religion, and it can be a little bit rough actually getting to steel. Like, you haven't got a whole lot of bonuses before then. But yeah, very powerful once it gets going. So it is going in A. Next one is Korea. I'm going to put Korea in D. It's not got as much going for it for sure. So +1 science from specialists increasing in medieval, industrial and atomic eras, +30% great people during golden ages, 50 golden age points when a great person is born. So lots of tradition-y stuff there, specialists, golden age points and more specialists. This Hoacho is pretty interesting. You get logistics on it. It doesn't do as much damage to cities, I think, but it doesn't have the penalty against units, so you can use it for defense and stuff. It's a unique trebuchet, but you do get to keep the logistics when you upgrade it to cannons, which will have the normal damage to cities. So technically you can actually have some units that do a lot of damage to cities here. And usually it's very difficult to get logistics on the siege weapon because you don't want to go down the field line. You want to go down the siege line and get range. But with these guys you can get logistics range siege weapons like back in the good old days. So they can help you defend during medieval era, and then I think they can help you attack later on, which is interesting. And then this sail one, unique university, pretty similar stuff, then extra stuff from great work, science and production, extra science during golden ages, and 50% of the science output as an instant boost when a citizen is born. I'm not sure that a university has that. And then extra faith as well. I forgot to mention also that the dojos give quite a few bonus yields to armories, so that's another thing that makes them like really good, because at least you can catch up a bit economically thanks to that. Yeah, these don't give quite such good bonuses though. I think you already get +2 science on the university anyway, so it's really not that much better. Korea can give you quite a lot of science late game, but I don't think it's too much help earlier on. You can't work that many specialists. Golden ages don't do too much for you early on. But yeah, you can definitely get a lot of science later on when you're permanently golden aging pretty much, and the extra great people is nice. No help with religion though, because the Seiya one is too late to help with that. And the Hwatch is a bit like, okay, it can kind of work as an authority thing, but the rest of it is all geared towards tradition. But yeah, I don't think it's quite good enough, because you probably actually need more culture with tradition than you do science, and you don't get any help with culture. And science victory is a tough one to go for. Even with all these bonuses later on, it's probably still quicker to go tourism in a lot of games, just because you can get to that tourism threshold a lot easier. It's reasonable though. I'm not going to put it in F just because the late game is really nice and the Hoachas are interesting. But yeah, I think D is fair. And top of D because there is some nice synergy in there. Okay. Actually, I'm going to go through the civs first and then rate them after. Okay, next one is the Mayans. So, after researching mathematics, receive a bonus great person at the end of every Maya long count cycle every 394 years. I don't know that it is every 394 years. It seems to work on some other timescale that I'm not sure exactly what it is, like every certain amount of turns, maybe something like that. But yeah, you only get one of each great person, so you get to choose basically what order you get them in. But I think you'll end up getting all of them. I'm not sure you get to start again after that. But a reasonable bonus, to be honest. Most of the great people are pretty useful, and why not have an extra one of them? The Atlas list. Wow, what a weird name. Unique composite bowman. I think it has basically the same stats. And then this. Plus 50% ranged combat strength when attacking wounded units. Not great for attacking, I would say. Like I said, missile troops not generally that good, and I don't think these guys really do enough. I suppose you could have a couple of them to do damage, but normally use your archers to do damage and then your melee units to finish them off. So it's a bit weird, the extra damage from to wounded units. It's definitely, these are make more sense as like a defensive thing to finish off units that are attacking you and stuff. And they are pretty good for that, I would say. And then the Kunar is a unique improvement, +1 science and 2 faith. And then they actually scale quite a lot, I think. There's quite a few things that make them better. Let's build one of them and see. So yeah, +1 science, +2 faith. Mathematics, you get another +2 science, so that's pretty early. Archaeology, astronomy is not too late either. Then archaeology, and then to culture with flight. So yeah, and they're available after construction. So yeah, astronomy, archaeology, okay. They are, you know, you can get them quite early. You go for construction straight away basically, and then you want to go mathematics to make them a bit better and to start getting your great people as well. They can help you get a religion. I'm not gonna lie, like, it sounds like a very good civ, and tradition makes the most sense with it. Like, you get the bonus great people, that tradition gives you extra bonuses, like for getting more great people, so that's nice. With like, you can get University of Sancor and stuff. And that list is a good defensive unit for tradition. The improvement is a bit weird. It's hard to work it when you're playing tradition. Like, whenever I've tried to play the Mayans, it's never worked out that well for me. Like, trying to work all your specialists, any other tiles that you want to work, and then the Kunas as well. It's like you're going to have to sacrifice some stuff to actually work them. They don't give any production, which is kind of annoying because you need production early on for all the stuff you want to build, get settlers out and stuff as tradition. It's just a bit weird. It never feels that good to me, even though on paper it sounds pretty good. Maybe I just shouldn't be working the Kunas until a bit later on when you've got extra population, but I always want to use them to help me get a religion. And going mathematics first, I prefer going writing first as tradition. I suppose you can go straight for hanging gardens, but you definitely do want to go mathematics first to get your bonus great people and stuff. Hand gardens can be hard to build and a bit annoying if you don't get it, and then you'll have to go writing after that. I guess you can build walls though and stuff to defend yourself. I can't put it high because I've not had good games with it, but it does sound decent to me. I'll put it at the bottom of C, I think. Alright, and I've updated the thing as well to say this is why I'm putting them in each tier. Do you know what, maybe I'll put it at top of D actually. Just because it's my own personal feeling on it. But maybe some of you will argue it is a bit better than that. I guess no culture bonuses, like I said, for tradition is a bit of an issue. The science doesn't necessarily work. And the kunas, they have to be built in forests. I don't know if they have to be next to luxuries. Yeah, they can't be adjacent to each other though. So they're probably better a bit later on, but I've never had a great early game with them. Anyway, okay, next civ is actually Mongolia. Okay. Getting interesting here. Mongolia. Mounted ranged units, +2 movement, ignore zone of control. Plus 100% tribute yields from city-state bullying. Ignores alliance and protection penalties when bullying. Does make it a lot easier to bully, and plus 100% tribute yield. You can get a lot early game. Tributes still tail off even with plus 100%, but they can help you have a really good early game. +2 movement and ignore zone of control mounted range units is a pretty unbelievable bonus. It basically makes it really difficult to actually lose your units. They've got 6 movement because any mounted cavalry has 4 movement already. Yeah, you can just run them in and out. You can basically kill any army, and even though they do less damage to cities, like, you can eventually wear them down. Obviously it is a little bit terrain dependent, like you really need to be on some plains and stuff. I think they have bias for that, so you tend to spawn in that kind of environment, but it can be a lot more difficult trying to attack into rough ground, obviously. But you'll normally have someone in some direction who has a somewhat exposed city. And if not, you can run around tributing, I suppose, or killing city-states if you want. Very, very good ability. The Khan unique Great General basically has the medic promotion and slightly more movement. It's actually not that spectacular, but it is nice to have a medic that can go behind your units, so you don't actually have to have one of your units kind of moving around and being in the way and stuff. It's a lot easier to use a medic, which can stack with other units. And then the Gur is a unique granary, which also has reduced cost of new tiles and some extra food. I think on the horses, sheep and cow, you don't normally get that with a granary. And 1 additional faith. This synergizes really nicely with the tribute policy, and you definitely will want to be playing authority. If you can get the God of the Expanse Pantheon, it should be enough to get you a religion, with the Gur giving the extra faith and the quicker border growth, so that you get more bonus yields from the God of Expanse. And if you can get that with Mongolia and everything, I mean, it all just comes together to make like a really strong authority civ. I feel like the one thing holding it back a bit is that, yeah, difficult to take cities, especially in rough with these guys, and you need a lot of horses because you don't have like a unique unit that can be these guys without using horses or something. And I also found that I kind of needed my melee units to be knights and like horses as well, because trying to move around like a spearman with all of your 6 movement horses, it just kind of ends up getting in the way. Same with using siege weapons, really. Although I think I did end up using some of them, just because it was really rough trying to take down cities without them. Statue of Zeus makes a big difference, but it's not something you really want to go for if you can help it. And there's no one particular moment where you become super strong, because there's no one moment where horse archers are really particularly good. But so you just kind of, you don't have any particular power spike where you can necessarily start conquering, but each time you get an upgrade, it obviously is quite useful. Probably, if anything, the best moment for horse archers is actually around like Renaissance Industrial. They're pretty good. Cuirassiers are pretty good, and cavalry are pretty good. The other ones earlier are a bit meh, I would say, particularly in that they don't actually do that much damage, like 5 range damage. Not a lot. And you need the flat ground, and you need horses, but really nice synergy with the border growth, and just general combat bonuses. So, I'm putting them up in S, and I am going to put them even above the Celts. I kind of felt like it was really hard to lose when I was playing them, just because there was no way anyone could actually kill my units. And I don't think I even ended up going for God of the Expanse. I think I took the Plains one instead, and still got a religion quite comfortably with that. I guess one maybe slight thing is it's a little bit difficult to build all the stuff earlier on, because you need a monument, shrine, and the Gers. It's like 3 different buildings. I don't really know which one's the best to build first. You kind of want all of them, because you might as well go for religion. But yeah, it's kind of like building one gets in the way of building the other one. But still a really, really good civ. Definitely. Okay, next we are on to Morocco, which is definitely an interesting one. Morocco. So you get this trade route bonus +1 to all yields per unique trade route partner. Yields are unaffected by distance. Basically means they give more money, I think. And you can plunder trade routes without declaring war. Probably underused, I would imagine, by myself and most people. I actually, in the last game, I used a Pathfinder just going through like people's territory with open borders. I mean, it was probably a scout or explorer, but just to plunder trade routes of people I was at war with, because I really, really needed a bit of extra money. I feel like you could definitely do that with Morocco. Just send a couple of Pathfinders or whatever scouts out once open borders are a thing. Just start pillaging trade routes everywhere. I think it does piss everyone off, but it also slows them down and gives you some nice yields. In terms of gold, the +1 yields per unique trade route partner is a little bit weird. You don't necessarily, like, the easiest way to get it is to trade with a lot of city-states. Synergizes with statecraft, which generally isn't the most powerful strategy. I would say statecraft is just not that good generally, but it has good synergy with that. Trying to trade with everyone, you will end up losing a lot of trade routes yourself though, when people declare war and stuff and your trade routes are just all over the place trying to trade with everyone. Normally much better to keep your trade routes close, but obviously as Morocco you kind of have to send them out to get the bonus. Can give you a bit of extra faith and stuff early on, but it's not really enough to make a difference, I would say. The Berber cavalry surprised me when I played them. They have ignore terrain cost, which is really, really good. It means they can run over rivers, through rough ground and everything. Makes it actually possible to use a lot of them and get them in and out. But it is pretty late. Like I said though, cavalry generally are decent, so Berber cavalry are usable. They did work for me, I have to say. Not terrible, but not amazing. Casbahs are really good. Build adjacent to your city. Additional food production, gold and culture. Quite a few things. Bonuses to coast and stuff. You don't get a significant amount of that. Some defense and dealing damage. sure. But yeah, you can build them on any tile. They connect resources, so wherever you put your city, basically, you can put it around them, unless it's mountains or water around them. I think you can even build them on marshes, so let's try it here. This would be a perfect place for one, on a horse marsh, and I think they don't get rid of the marsh. At least that's how it was when I played them. So, a really good tile, to be honest. A tile you definitely want to work quite a few of. Doesn't get better until architecture, where it gets an extra golden culture. I think you get them at guilds. So a little bit late. Upgrade at architecture. A really good improvement though. Oh, it's actually chivalry. Wow, so earlier. Yeah, chivalry is a nice one to get them on actually. A very good improvement. Can kind of help you with anything. Like, you don't necessarily have to pick. I feel like you could go for any of the opening policies. Statecraft makes the most sense as your second policy tree for synergy with the trade route bonuses and stuff. But pretty good all round, and I think it's powerful enough to be in A tier, to be honest, though I will put them at the bottom. Just because no particularly good synergy with authority or with religion. But powerful in its own right, so you don't necessarily need religion, which is the next criteria. And it definitely is pretty powerful with the Casbahs. Cool. Ottomans coming next. Another interesting one to try and rate, I would say. I'm sure there'll be some disagreements about the Ottomans actually. Completing a trade route grants 150 science and food to the origin city if international, or culture and gold if internal, scaling with era. Trade routes take about 25 turns to complete, so you're looking at basically 6 per turn. So kind of better than the Moroccan bonus. However, they need to complete to get it, so you have to wait until the end where you get the full bonus. And they can get pillaged as well, and then you won't get any additional bonus basically from just a normal trade route. Okay, Janissary, a gunpowder unit. So it's a unique musketman. Don't think it's actually got that much bonus combat strength. Does have march, so heals every turn, which is quite nice actually. You can make a couple of these guys medics and have them run around healing and healing other people as well. 25 combat bonus when attacking. They're alright. Musketmen generally are not that great. I don't think it's a huge improvement on them. Realistically, the Siege Foundry, Forge, I think it used to give bonus production to mines, but this is just normal Forge now. 50% production towards siege units. All siege units trained in the city will receive the volley promotion. And you get 20% of the science of production of the unit you create as science. It's a weird civ. It's a bit all over the place. Like, it's got bonuses to different things. Volley is a nice promotion to have on siege weapons. It basically gives 50% bonus to attacking cities and fortified units. Normally I would go up to the siege promotions, get range and then volley next. So it kind of saves you a promotion in that sense. I don't think this gives you a significant amount. Plus 50% production towards siege units. Okay. It's alright. Having a ranged unit, unique unit is quite weird with having a siege unit, because if you were going to replace, like, you know, normally you go siege weapons and melee weapons, as I said, but if you're going to replace siege weapon, if you're going to use a ranged unit, you'd normally replace some siege weapons, because you still need a front line, but you might replace some of your ranged weapons with normal ranged units rather than siege weapons. So it's a bit weird in that respect. Like, are you going to have an army of Janissaries and siege weapons? Not really, because they don't tank very well. They have minus 15% strength when defending, and 24 combat strength itself is not that high. Bit weird. I guess Gatling guns are an alright upgrade after that. The trade route bonus, like I said, it's basically +6 scaling with era to the yield, as long as you can get it completed, which can be tricky, but you don't have to send them out as far, so you can just send them to safe places that you think. Thing is, this kind of makes the most sense with a tradition civ, because with tradition civs you could send your trade routes out from your capital, get the bonus science and food, and then send the internals to your capital and get the bonus culture and gold, because you normally send food internals to your capital. With authority, I feel like I normally end up sending international trade routes, but then you wouldn't get any food. I suppose the science in itself is okay, but well, you would get food, but food is useless, basically, as an authority civ in most games. So I guess you just go authority with the siege weapon bonus. It all feels a bit weird. I don't see one particular way. I like playing them because I like the trade route bonus, and I like being able to choose what bonus you get, and kind of it gives you a bit of flexibility here, because you can play it however you want it, I suppose. Whatever the land is at the start, you can choose your opening policy tree. And then, to be honest, you could go anywhere after that. Like, the synergy with statecraft is not a huge deal. Like, it's one extra trade route. So, yeah. I guess the downside for Ottomans compared to Morocco is I don't think you get desert bias like I think you do as Morocco, which helps you to build Petra. I would say going for Colossus is a bit weird. It's a weird tech to go for metal casting if you're not doing authority stuff, because it's basically all around the unit upgrades like steel. But normally if you're not trying to attack people, you either want to go chivalry to get castles, or you want to go up to education and theology, which it's completely out of the way of. And if you want to rush for Colossus, you actually wouldn't even go writing, which would be a big blow for your science. So the trade route strategies, while they can be fun, are definitely not the best. Yeah, I'm going to put Ottomans, I'm going to put them in D above Mayans because I like them. But I don't think it's that powerful. Persia next. Persia is kind of similar to Greece. Has the unique spearman, but a pretty different unique ability and stuff. Golden Ages last 50% longer, 10% of your gold converted into Golden Age points. Get 1 extra movement and 15 combat strength bonus during Golden Ages. So you can get a reasonable amount of Golden Ages actually, and use them to help you attack people. The movement is nice on siege weapons because you get 1 additional. When you have 3 movement on a siege weapon, it allows you to move it into enemy territory and still shoot, which is always usually the problem where you have to move them in, because it takes an additional movement moving siege weapons in enemy territory. You always have to wait an extra turn than you would as Persia, and having 3 movement on your infantry is decent as well. These guys are unique spearmen. They have some really great bonuses on them, which stay really good for the whole game. So once you get through the pikeman phase, you're going to have really nice tercios, and later with these guys. The armor plating and the faster healing, to be honest, is exactly what you want from infantry. Yeah, and it means that you can just kind of stick these guys in the enemy territory right from the start, and like just take hits on them and just like level them up, and they can get pretty strong pretty quickly, and gives you a great front line for your siege weapons to keep them safe. So I do really like these guys. I kind of prefer them to hoplites if anything, even though they're probably weaker in the moment. They're better for the rest of the game. I feel like the satraps court +1 golden and golden age points per turn for every 5 citizens in the city. Okay, so probably 2 per city. Extra gold for specialists. I think you get an extra merchant slot as well, which it doesn't mention. Not that you'll probably use that. An extra happiness and an extra gold. Honestly, these don't sound great. They feel a bit better than they sound, because you do need to build courthouses everywhere. So this is going to be like the first thing you build in every city that you conquer. It's a bit weird building them in your own cities, because they're probably not actually that much better than just some of the other buildings you could build, like a bank or something like that. But I don't know, they feel alright when playing. Yeah, so I like Persia, to be honest. I probably like them more than they actually are, but this is my list, so I'm putting them above Greece. Probably Greece is better. They're similar. Greece might be better because of the culture, but you do have to go up for other things for this. Persia, you just get the immortals and then do what you want. I like Persia, man. So they're going there. But yeah, no real additional cultural science, which is quite bad. But I like them, so yeah. Okay, next is Poland. Now, we have a choice with Poland, and it is how high up the S tier that we put them, of course, and I'm putting them right at the top. Poland is quite a sieve, man. It is really got a lot of stuff going for it. Free policy in classical era, so pretty early you get that, and then every 2 eras after, so medieval, modern, information, I think. Yep. And then 2 free policies when you get ideology. So throughout the game you end up with 6 additional policies, an entire additional policy tree, if you want one. So it helps you get to ideology faster, and then gives you more policies when you get there. A lot of ideology policies are really powerful. Winged Hussars are also really good. Like, I nearly gave these as one of the best unique units in the game, to be honest. Heavy charge, forces enemy to retreat, takes 50% extra damage if they can't retreat, and because they have really high combat strength, they're a unique lancer with 3 extra combat strength. You know, you're quite likely to be able to actually get that, doing more damage than they take. 5 movement, so an extra movement, formation as well, extra damage to mounted units, defense and open is whatever. But also, you keep these upgrades when you upgrade the units, and like, all of the upgrades after Winged Hussars are amazing. Basically, infantry is the way to go up until modern era. Once you get here, land ships and tanks are way better than any infantry you'll ever have. So having, basically, they're good enough to be like unique land ships or unique tanks because of these bonuses, and they'll always do more damage than they take because they're stronger than any of the units they're attacking, like riflemen and stuff. I honestly think tanks are really unbalanced. Like, you need an oil for them, but that's really hard to get. And man, they are so powerful, even without additional bonuses that you get from the Winged Hussars. And Winged Hussars, you know, in Renaissance era they destroy, and then they keep destroying with the upgrades. Duckle stable as well, so unique stable, bonus culture when you build them, helps you get more policies. Free horse, 50% production and plus 15 experience on mounted melee units, so, and additional production from internal trade routes, and 3 additional gold on your horse and sheep tiles, and an additional production as well, because you only get 2 normally. And a free horse, just to make sure that you can build loads of winged hussars if you couldn't already. My god, dude. I mean, everything just works so well together for an authority playthrough. You get the stable, you can start building horse units earlier if you want. Knights are already pretty decent. Upgrade them into winged hussars. Helps you with policies later on. Like I said, getting to autocracy is amazing. And what you want when you get to autocracy is 3 policies. And that's exactly what you get. You get there, and then you get given 2 additional free tenets. It's unbelievable. Like, you get elite forces, you get military industrial complex, and you get Lebensraum, and you're absolutely laughing with your winged hussars or upgrading them into land ships at that point. You're destroying everyone, get blitz on them, you already have high movement, you just need to be able to do as many attacks as possible and do damage to cities. You probably don't even need siege weapons, man, just as many mounted units as you can get. You will destroy armies and then you can destroy cities. Unbelievably good civ. Only slight weakness is not too much early game. Like I said at the start, early policies are not that helpful on authority. It's not really going to change the game for you to have 1 extra policy up until Renaissance era. 2 is getting a bit more of a big deal, but the fact that it helps you get ideology earlier is kind of the main thing, and then really good units and stuff. Just a great civ, and to be honest, Poland was always the best civ in Civ 5, purely because of the additional policies, right? And like, this alone is powerful enough to actually help you win games as tradition, but I feel like there's no point doing that because you'll win a lot easier with authority. But just this alone is like powerful enough to make progress or tradition work. My god, is Poland a good civ? Just a slight early game weakness is the only thing. But yeah, they are top of S right now. Okay, Polynesia up next. Another civ which, I'm going to be honest with you, I like. I am a fan of playing them. Plus on site when embarked, can always embark right from the start and move over oceans. Normally you have to wait for astronomy to move over oceans, or fishing to move over coastal tiles. Plus 2 food from fishing boats and atolls, and melee naval units can construct fishing boats. No unhappiness from isolation. Yeah, so a lot of bonuses with sea things. If you get a sea resource start, you're absolutely laughing. My old problem is that you have to get to sailing to get the melee boats so that you can start building all the fishing boats. But yeah, basically means you don't need to build any fishing boats. And you almost always do want to go for sailing. I feel like even if I don't have a sea resource, I still just try and do God of the Sea and just settle some cities wherever there are sea resources, because there's going to be some somewhere around, and you can get around straight away. You get to get loads of ancient ruins because, I guess we take a little look at this map, but there's usually some sitting around okay, there's no real islands on this map because it's Pangaea, but there's usually ancient ruins sitting around on islands or on other continents and stuff that you get first access to. I actually tend to build... I think I normally go Shrine first, but then I buy a Pathfinder as soon as I can, so that I have 2 running around. Just because of the ability to get so many ancient ruins, and you want to find places for you to settle. The Maori warrior is alright. It's a unique pikeman, which isn't great, but it's way better, so it's actually usable. I think you get it at chivalry instead of steel, which can be good or bad. And you get this hacker war dance promotion, 15 combat strength reduction for enemies adjacent to this unit, which is it's reasonable. It's a nice thing to keep with you when you upgrade them. I won't say I've ever used them too much when I've played, because you're normally more focused on naval stuff. I actually don't know if you can use these guys. Do they give them minus fear when they're embarked? That could be quite interesting. Just have an embarked Maori warrior going around underneath your melee boats, helping you to reduce enemy boats' combat strength. Could work, and I guess you just jump these guys onto land and they destroy people. But yeah, pikemen normally 17 combat strength, so a big upgrade on them. They don't have formation though. But I guess it's quite nice to be able to actually build like warriors and spearmen and stuff, and not worry about the fact that you're going to have to upgrade them into pikemen, because you can just upgrade them straight into the Maoris. Final thing is the Moi, I believe, statue. May only be built on the coast. If built next to another Moi, 1 additional culture, so 1 additional culture per adjacent Moi. Additional yields later, and plus 20% combat strength if within the 3 tiles. Pretty reasonable, and plus 1 culture and production on the tile. I like them, honestly. You can build them on top of resources and stuff, but they don't connect them is the only issue. But it's good for like bonus resources like sheep and stone. If you already have 1 stone connected so that you can build a stoneworks, then, or I guess, do you know what you could do, right? You could build a quarry on a stone and then build the stoneworks and then build the Moi instead, and I feel like they are pretty good. Can actually buy. I don't know if you can build them next to lakes. I don't think you can. How do I get rid of this forest? Should make it realistic, because they do get rid of forests when you build them. So 1 production, 1 culture. I feel like they do get better quite quickly. Engineering is plus 1, so that's fairly soon. And then astronomy is also not too far, and then architecture is not too far either. And the adjacency bonus means that you can, if we had 2 more here, this would be plus 3 culture instead. I think that you have to go construction for them, which is a little bit weird, because like I said, you want to go sailing straight away, so going construction is a little bit odd and delays writing and stuff. So the start can be weird in terms of tech path, but I do like it. And you have a lot of the extra food from the fishing boats, and you already have quite high food if you're working sea resources, so you'll be able to work a lot of these tiles. And production and culture is definitely what you want from a tile that you want to work a lot of. So some nice economic bonuses, an alright unit. I think progress, it seems like the most obvious progress civ that there is, because the science helps you to get the early techs that you need in terms of sailing and construction. You get help with building the improvements, from the free worker, and I always say progress works really well with C resource starts. It's definitely not as strong if you don't have a C resource next to your capital, and it might mean that you can't get a religion from it, which is kind of a problem. And progress strategy, even though you can have a great start, it might not necessarily translate into a great game because there's no particular way of converting that into a win. You could technically use these mois in a culture victory, because when you build hotels and things like that, they give 25% of your culture from wonders, natural wonders, and tiles. So it's one of the, you don't actually get it from like buildings and stuff. It's one of the forms of culture that actually gets converted into tourism, is culture from tiles, from stuff like the Moi statues, and you can get quite a bit if you have like 3 in all of them, plus the bonus yields in later texts. So that's one way. And you can go authority instead, especially if there's a lot of barb camps around, which there can be on islands and stuff. That's usually what would make me choose authority over progress as Polynesia. And you can definitely do some conquering with boats, since you should have a very naval empire, more than other people. I like them, but you definitely could get a bad start where there's not a massive amount you can do for it, and I often tend to get a bit overstretched trying to actually make like a good empire. You end up having to settle cities kind of all over the place. So, an interesting one. I'm going to put them in C. I enjoy playing them, but it's not the most powerful civ, to be honest. Okay, Portugal. What are we saying about Portugal? Maria the First. When a trade unit moves, +4 science and gold, and admiral points for a cargo ship, general points for a caravan. I don't know why it's worded so weirdly, but it basically means you get that yield per turn. But you get it as an instant yield rather than as a normal yield that you get from, say, a normal international trade route. Gives you gold and usually science and a bit of culture, which can help with happiness, but this won't help with happiness, is I guess the main thing. But trade route yields aren't multiplied by yield modifiers anyway, so it doesn't make a difference to the amount you actually get. But yeah, reasonable amount, and the great general points and admiral points, surprisingly useful, particularly the great general points. It's nice to be able to citadel stuff, even if you're not playing as authority, which you might not necessarily be as Maria, but that can be one of the issues in non-authority strats, is that you get citadeled and they take your good land and then you can't conquer it back because you don't have an army. But Portugal can fight against that, or even do it preemptively, so that's quite nice. This now, don't know if that's how you pronounce it, unique caravel, higher combat strength. Is it that much higher? Oh wow, it's significantly higher. Okay, 5 extra. So, can perform an ability to build a Fetora and gains bonus golden experience. I did a bit of practicing. Seemed like, so it scales with the distance it is to your capital. And it's the distance to the actual tile you're in, so you can choose the tile that gives you the most golden experience. Seemed to give you around 200 gold to 20 experience. And you can do it twice in the same city-state. You can do it as many times as you want in the same city-state. Twice per boat. But you can only build the Feitoras once, which we'll come on to. Pretty good though, really. You basically get 400 gold and 40 experience extra for every one of these. I mean, that pretty much pays for it. Like, production is worth 2 gold, so more than pays for it in that respect. Yeah, and 40 bonus experience as well. Melee units are very nice. You do have to wait until Compass to do it though. And then the Faetora. So it's a normal improvement. Coastal. Gains bonus production and gold. Adjacent coastal water and lake tiles gain +1 gold. I think you have to build it next to the coast though. I think. Can only be built on the coast. Right. And not adjacent to Faetoras and not on top of resources. And I would say they're not amazing, and then this is just the free thing that you get from using the exotic cargo. Oh wow, actually, okay. +4 production and gold. They're decent then. Trade routes to the city generate bonus production, food, and gold based on your gold income from the trade route. I don't remember it being too much. I remember it being kind of 2, 3, maybe 4 of the yields. I mean, it's reasonable, but it wasn't like spectacular. But some synergies with trade routes, basically. Let's build ourselves a little Faetora here. Gonna need some money. So it's workable. Doesn't give any science or culture like pretty much all other unique improvements do. Bit of extra defense. Okay, printing press does give you bonus culture, which is quite early. Printing press is not long after. I think do you get them at Compass as well? Or guilds? Compass as well. So you get printing press not long after that. Anyway, astronomy +2 gold, which is pretty soon after also, and then industrialization is a bit later. So it's actually quite good. You don't get to build that many of them because they can't be adjacent or on resources. But a nice one. The boats are super good. The trade route bonus is decent early on. It is nice to have bonus science and gold. Yeah, and like I said, the now's pretty damn good. I mean, get some bonus experience on the boats. You can use them to start attacking the cities. Like the melee boat line is very good, so having bonus experience on them is really good because melee boats have really good promotions. Is why they're so good. Blitz and Vanguard are real nice. So a decent civ. I guess you could consider progress because you want to get decent early science to get to Compass, to get all your bonuses. And you have a unique improvement as well, and you'll want a lot of population in a lot of cities so you can work more Faetoras. But, you know, you could play Authority or Tradition if you wanted to, I think. And probably you want to go Statecraft, since you get bonus for trade routes with city-states once they have the Faetoras in them. And you also get the luxuries of city-states that you have Faetoras in. And then I believe there's that Statecraft policy where resources from city-state count towards global monopolies, so I believe you'll get them from having the Faetoras. Faetoras, maybe. So some nice bonuses, and it's all kind of geared towards the same thing. So I like them. I'm going to put them top of C. No help with religion. Statecraft generally is not an amazing strategy, and you don't really get that much help with actually doing a Diplo victory. But yeah, it is nice for statecraft because bonus for trade routes, and you should have a navy as well, which you want to be able to reconquer all the city-states that get conquered every game, and just have a bit of a presence around the map and protect your trade routes as well. All works together nicely. Rome is going to come next here. I'm sticking them in A, and I'm sticking them below Japan. Some nice bonuses with Rome though. The glory of Rome: when you conquer a city, retains all buildings and you immediately acquire additional territory around the city. Plus 15% production towards buildings present in the capital. So, yeah. You get to keep unique buildings as well. And one interesting thing is that you actually get to keep Reformation belief buildings, which you don't normally. So the buildings people build once they get to the follower amount, normally they get destroyed when you take a new city. But you actually get to keep them, and they're national wonders. And they all have these bonuses to holy sites. So if you conquer quite a few holy cities, you can end up with really good holy site yields. Once you build these buildings, yeah, it was quite nice to have to not have my own religion as Rome, because I was able to conquer them and conquer the different Reformation beliefs. And I think I was even allowed to reform a religion that I didn't. Yeah, I converted into a religion and then reformed it. So I had loads of different religions and all of the different Reformation belief buildings. I guess you actually get the bonus delegates as well, which is interesting. And all these, some of them have some bonus effects as well. Anyway, whatever. That's not like a this kind of quite rare thing that only happens when you're already snowballing. Legion. So these are unique swordsmen available at ironworking, cover 2 promotion as well as cover 1. They can construct forts and rows, and the Pelem promotion. So when fortified enemy units take 10 damage at the beginning of each turn. This rarely happens, and you lose it with upgrade anyway. Because I think in order to be fortified, you're not allowed to have actually moved, so they would have to move next to you, and then yeah, that's not going to happen that often, is it? Forts and rows, that doesn't stay with promotion either, but it is useful. Even if you can't do military stuff with these guys, you can build some roads, and roads make wars way easier. Just something for them to do while they're chilling in the back lines as well. And then the Colosseum, plus 5 golden age points in the city, scaling with era if the unit was created by the city. Also receive plus 10 great general points. Plus 2 production. Yeah, this is normal arena stuff. It's unique arena. 3 bonus culture as well, and 2 and 3 bonus production, which is actually quite a significant amount, to be honest. And it's on a good tech. There's kind of a clear way to go at the start of the game with these guys. You go for masonry, you try and build terracotta army, and you build your colosseums, and then you go for ironworking and build your legions. Maybe you could rush ironworking first if you want to go majorly aggressive. They can easily take down cities with walls and just tank a lot. They will struggle against castles though, which is what makes them not necessarily ideal, but you get to upgrade them through into longswordmen and then tercios with double cover is very, very nice. The fact that you get to keep all buildings makes conquering anyone amazing. Even early game conquests are like better than they usually would be, because you get to keep their buildings, which they should have some of at least, and 15% production towards buildings present in the capital is a pretty good economic bonus, to be honest. Works well with authority. You get the bonus base production, and then you can get the 15% bonus production from that. So it just really works well with authority, to be honest. And for that reason, it has to be an A or above. Yeah, I'm only putting an A because not maybe as much bonus culture or science as you can get from Japan or Denmark, and a unique swordsman is a bit, it's not, I would say a unique longswordman is better because you're closer to gunpowder at that point. And there's not actually that much combat bonuses to help you conquer cities either. You just need to have a lot of legions. Ooh, Russia is next, boys. Russia I feel pretty strongly about. Plus 20 science when your borders expand naturally, scaling with era. Border growth is 25% faster. Okay, and double strategic resources. Cossack is another unique cavalry. It's got way higher combat strength and extra damage to wounded units. And Withering Fire, which makes them retreat or take more damage. So they do a lot of damage. Honestly, a bit tough to use them. You have to get them in and out, and they don't have any bonus movement or the ignores terrain costs that the Berber cavalry have. So even though they're super strong, they're actually a little bit difficult to use on offense. Obviously, they do loads of damage on defense. You've got your roads and stuff. And then the Ostrog, +1 production and gold to camps, mines, lumber mills, and strategic resources. So, quite a lot of things you'd probably be working. Unique arsenal. Enemy land units must expend 1 extra movement and an extra 3 production. It's available at metallurgy instead of rifling. So a little bit earlier. I mean, these are all right. I feel like I actually feel like if you can build Stonehenge and get God of the Expanse, like, I don't see how you could lose that game. You'll have loads of bonus science for all the border growths. You should easily get a religion with the extra border growth speed. You can take authority, get loads of yields from the tribute policy as well, and you'll have bonus science to mean that it will be very difficult for anyone to ever kill you, and you'll be able to get to gunpowder, like I said, and later, like, I guess, rifling and metallurgy and stuff. Obviously, you can't guarantee building Stonehenge and getting God of the Expanse. I mean, the only reason I would say build Stonehenge is to make sure you get God of Expanse, because it does go sometimes as one of the first pantheons. So even if you build Shrine first, you might not get it. But yeah, I would either build Stonehenge or try and build Shrine first. So I feel like if you get that, it's just game over, basically. And I actually also feel like even if you didn't get that, you could still have a really good game with authority, or even you could try a tradition game where you get loads of border yields early and helps you to maybe build some wonders early. The AI always use it to just snowball and build wonders early. They're so far ahead on tech as Russia in every game, it's pretty crazy. So, okay. Russia is going to go in here. You can't guarantee the religion, which makes it maybe not as strong. So you might end up, if you don't get a religion, then you'll end up losing your pantheon as well. Although I guess if you got the God of the Expanse, basically you can't guarantee God of the Expanse. If you could guarantee that every game, it would be even closer to the top. But I feel like there is fair, given that you can't guarantee that. I don't really want to make the list. I know you can normally get Stonehenge, but that can change, and even with Stonehenge, you could still get beaten to it by Spain or India, or someone getting a faith rune. But yeah, I'm sure most games as Russia will be pretty crazy. Shoshan are next. Vishashone. Great Expanse. Founded cities start with additional territory. Land units receive a combat bonus when fighting in their own territory. You can choose rewards from ancient ruins. I'm not sure this is quite as good as it used to be in vanilla. I don't know that it's like, because I think you only get to choose each of them once anyway, so it's just which order you get them in. I don't know which one is that useful. Like, attack, like, they're all nice. Attack is nice. Normally one of the best ones is actually the border growth ruin, but you already have that basically because you have Great Expanse. I might take money and buy second Pathfinder, but then yeah, what's the point if they're not that good anyway? I feel like what could maybe be good is getting the scout upgrade, and then there's the map one as well, where it explores certain territory for you, and it gives you like plus 100 bonus experience on your Pathfinder. So if you have a scout and that, you basically get up to survivalism 3 on, like I said, a scout which has 9 combat strength. So it heals every turn and can just keep attacking, and it can like solo barb camps or kill warriors if anybody hasn't upgraded to spearman. Can do quite a bit, so that might be actually the best thing to do. And then you can get some bonus faith as well. I think after a certain turn you can get a contribution to your pantheon, and then once you have a pantheon, or maybe at some turns later, you can get a significant amount of faith actually from a ruin, but there's no guarantee that you'll be able to actually get that many ruins. Comanche Rider, these are rubbish. Unique cavalry, they withdraw. Sure, I mean, yeah. No other real bonuses though. Nothing that's going to help you really actually do anything with them. I don't know if I would even bother like building them. It's probably one of the only units in the game that I might not even bother with at all. It's so late, and I don't think it would help you conquer people if you haven't already started, which if you have, you would have used a different army. And then the encampment, plus 2 food, 1 production, 1 culture, damage enemy units, can't be built adjacent to each other. Let's see what their yields scale with. It's okay as it is. Gunpowder plus 1 food, plus 1 culture, and rifling plus 1 production, plus 1 science. I feel like they wouldn't really be that good until rifling. They don't give enough. It's 1 production or 1 culture. Normally you can't work that many tiles as authority because you'll have happiness issues, and yeah, I don't think they're good enough to make to work for like progress or something. I'm not a big fan of the Shoshone, to be honest. I don't know that this will do that much for you. The additional territory is probably the best bit actually, because that's one of the best ruins to get, so the fact that you basically get that for free can be really nice. And I suppose you can go and like forward settle people and then maybe Great General them to get a good place to attack from. And I suppose you'll get to fight in your own territory then. I don't really see it though. I feel like you'll still struggle economically, and to actually conquer people I think will be difficult as well. And even if you did start conquering people, I don't know that you could then necessarily guarantee that you'll actually win the game. I'm sticking them in F. I think they're worse than France, to be honest. I guess I would say that it's hard to lose a game, which maybe means that you have a good chance of winning. It's like consistent, but I don't see any high power level of it, I suppose would be how I describe them. Maybe F is harsh, but I'm doing it. Alright, Siam next. Influence with city-states starts at 40, yields from friendly and allied city-states increased by 75%, plus 25% combat strength to allied city-state capitals, plus 10 experience to units gifted by city-states. So, 40 influence gets you a friendship. A friendship in the ancient era basically gives you 1 yield per turn of like from culture or faith city-states or science from militaristic ones. And then the plus 75% gets rounded down anyway, so you actually don't get anything really much from this, and you only get that for 10 turns. You have to complete a quest to try and get the alliance to get, I think then you'd have 2 that would then be raised up to 3 with the additional 75%, and at least it would last a bit longer then. The stuff... It's actually, you can notice it, but it's not gonna win you a game, like ever. The combat strength of allied city-states, it does keep them alive a bit at least, which is nice. Seems like something that could be nice to be on the statecraft tree actually, because that's a big issue of a lot of statecraft civs, that their city-state friends just get conquered so easily. It's pretty annoying. 10 experience, you don't really notice this. You don't get enough unit gifts. Maybe if it was like twice the unit gift rate, but nah, just this on its own is not really good enough. The Narusuans, Feared Elephant, so this is a unique knight with 2 extra bonus strength, 3 movement. 50 bonus versus mounted, though you'll have to catch them with lower movement, and most of the units you fight will not be mounted units, to be honest. 10 combat strength reduction for enemy units, which gets lost with upgrade as well. Pretty rubbish. I don't even know if there are much of an improvement on the knight. I guess they don't need horses, I suppose. I actually feel like they'd be better for defense than attack. Like, defending against knights is a pretty big deal. You lose this with upgrade as well though, man. Oh, it's not cool. These unique constabulary, but you get it from theology, which is way earlier. 1 culture, faith, and 2 science, and 2 science from temples and shrines, plus 1 culture from jungles and forests. These are alright. It's weird having a unique constabulary because constabulary is normally a building you wouldn't really bother building except maybe in your capital. I don't know about now with the new spies, maybe it is necessary, but yeah, it's normally a building you'd skip over. So now you kind of have this choice of like, you know, you would build them if you could, but it's because you're building other stuff. So you have the choice between the what and the university. How much better is a what than a university? A little bit, but it means that you have to delay building something else. Am I making sense with that? Maybe like, instead of, because the constabulary itself isn't that good, you're basically just getting the unique bonus. Whereas, say, if you have a unique university, you would just build the university and then you get a university and the unique bonus. Something like that. But it's nice. I've heard it actually gives more yields than it says. So maybe I'll just build one. Nah, so not giving that much, but I guess you get +6 science from it. Thing is, it's kind of synergizing with religion stuff, but no real help to get you a religion. I don't think the faith you're going to get from the city-state is enough unless you happen to get a good quest that helps you get up to the alliance. But yeah, having a friendship for 10 turns is 10 faith. It's not enough. I think if you're going to play them, you know, the best possible game you could have would be like a forest kind of strat, where you're you know, building a lot of lumber camps, maybe with progress, and then you do want to be going statecraft, and then if you have high production, you can spam out a load of diplomats. I have actually had like a good game where that was what happened. I spawned in a massive amount of forest, and I think I even managed to get a religion with Goddess of Renewal, which is very unlikely, I have to say. Though this is an amazing pantheon, doesn't give quite enough faith, and maybe I did this when you could get a bit more bonus faith from the city-states, from the friendship that you got from them. It's not quite enough, I don't think, unfortunately, and I don't think it's powerful enough to give you a good chance of winning without having a religion, and the unit isn't good enough to make it an authority civ. So this is definitely going right at the bottom. To be honest, Siam could be in a tier of its own, mate. Like, I could honestly consider moving these guys up to D and just having F be reserved for Siam. I think it's significantly worse than Germany. But that's just the way it is. Alright, we're back up to the other end of the tier list here. It's time for Songhai, guys. Song flippin' high. River Warlord. Triple gold from pillaging encampments and cities, so killing barb camps or cities. Land units gain the war canoe and amphibious promotions. So amphibious allows them to cross rivers. And less combat penalty, or no combat penalty for crossing rivers. They can move across without using movement points, and they can attack from the sea without having a combat penalty. I think this is the one that gives bonus embarked strength. So yeah, you can kind of send them across the sea without having an escort, and they see a bit further as well. Sure. The ignore terrain cost when adjacent to rivers is pretty nice. I think they actually get like a movement bonus as well, because you can sometimes move 3 tiles when you're next to a river with Songhai units. Yeah, so there must be some some movement bonus as well as just the ignoring terrain cost, but pretty crazy. You can run over hills or forests for less than 1 movement, as long as you're going along a river. Rivers create city connections as well. Rare that you get to use that a lot, but certainly plausible. Mandakalus. Oh my god. Powerful ancient mounted unit. You can say that for damn sure. So unique horsemen. One additional combat strength. They don't get the penalty for to attacking cities like a horseman gets, and raider promotion, flank bonus increased by 150%. Quite a lot, to be honest. I mean, lot is 10% per unit, and then 5% per unit per shot promotion you have. Steel gold equivalent to 50% of the damage inflicted on a city is able to use enemy roads. The thing that makes these guys amazing is the fact that you have the amphibious and the ability to move along rivers with them. So amphibious generally is not that useful on infantry because they only have 2 movement anyway. So okay, you try and walk across the river and you lose 1 movement because you lose all your movement points. Bit annoying, but trying to run across the river as a horseman and losing all 4 of your movement points just trying to move across 1 river is super annoying. Mandakalus don't have that issue because they have amphibious. Basically, you can get super aggressive with these guys early on. I think you need military theory, which is a couple of techs, but yeah, and you do need horses, but get a couple of them out and man, they do so much damage to cities. You can move them in and out like really easily. You can have loads of them attacking cities. They give you money for each attack you're doing on the city. They can kill units better as well thanks to the flank attack bonus, and you get the bonus money if you can take a city or pillage barb camps, which is really easy to do and you already want to be doing anyway as authority, which is definitely the way you're going to play these guys. Really nice civ for authority. Then you get this Tabia unique stoneworks. You don't need to have any improved stone or anything though, but +1 production to all river tiles and plus 10% production to buildings. So a bit of an economic boost as well with a +1 culture just from the thing. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good building to be honest. Like, you'd like this on a lot of civs. Generally your city will be on a hill, so that's on a river, sorry, so that's +1 production. And then even like a Plains River farm will be 3 food, 2 production, so it's kind of enough to justify working a lot of tiles. Like even just farms, which you wouldn't normally do as authority. I really like Songhai. I feel like the early game is just so smooth as well. You go animal husbandry, find out where the horses are. If you don't have any horses within your border, you go for pottery and you build a settler and go for the nearest horses. You go military theory, build Mandakalus, go construction, build your Tabias, get masonry, get terracotta army, hopefully. You should definitely be able to have the policies because you can kill barb camps and units easily with some of these guys. It's just so smooth and you can instantly start conquering people and get money for doing it as well. Even people with walls. Like, I think I conquered a city with a castle with only Mandakalus. And they stay decent. You upgrade them into knights and lancers, and then if you still haven't won the game at this point, which I think is unlikely, then you can get your landships and tanks, which will still have that raider promotion. I feel like you can go a bit of both promotion routes with them. I think normally I went more drill, get blitz, because you can move them around easily. It's actually quite easy to use the double attack on cities and stuff. But a couple of shock ones to clear out the units going along with the raider promotion. And then just get a medic. Just try and get a medic early. It doesn't even have to be a ranged mounted unit. It can just be an archer if you want. Try and get a medic too, so that you can heal them up while you send the other dudes in, and just get as many horses as possible. Only weakness is if you have a lack of horses, which obviously would suck quite a lot. I mean, there's got to be horses somewhere though. Are you really going to have no horses that are next to you or that you can sell? I find that very unlikely. Man, what an authority civ though. I'm sticking them right at the very top. It's going to be a debate between Poland and them. I just think Poland, you do have a slight weakness early game, whereas with the Mandakalus, you're actually really strong early game. So the only time you could possibly really lose a game is somebody getting aggressive on you early, and that ain't going to happen to you, man. And I feel like even if you don't get a great start, can't get horses until medieval era or something, you can just get Mandakalus and upgrade them to knights and they'll still be good. Yeah. I'm putting them right at the top. You know, Mongolia, you need horses anyway. Yeah, I'm putting them at the top. But it is close between quite a few of them. Probably more personal preference in terms of which civ is actually the best, but they're all very, very strong. Okay, Spain next. Another civ which I think is very, very powerful. I didn't really know until I tried them because they've been changed a bit recently. Gaining tiles generates faith and gold, scaling with era. 4 faith and 1 gold, and what this means is a bit different to most other tile growth things, because it's just gaining a tile. So when you actually found your first city, right, you found a city and then you get the 6 tiles around it, so you get 7 tiles in total, and that counts. And I think it also counts conquering cities, like every tile you conquer. So if we conquered Madrid, we would get 7 tiles worth. Actually, we can actually even see what they have. Okay, they have 33 faith. But yeah, I think it's 4 per tile, and they got 7 tiles. They must have got 7 extra faith. I actually have no idea how they would have got that on turn 1. That doesn't make any sense at all. But 10 gold per tile as well. So 4 faith and 10 gold, scaling with era. Inquisitors are stronger, unlock earlier, and a free Inquisitor. So I assume you get them as soon as you found your religion instead of needing to enhance. Free Inquisitor appears every time a city is conquered, so you can convert it to your religion. Nice. May purchase naval units with faith. But what this gaining tiles generates faith and gold means is, so each city is 28 faith, so all you need to do is settle your second city and then you get a pantheon. You can choose God of the Expanse. I actually don't think it's necessary because I don't think the yields are that amazing like throughout the game, but it is really good at the start for getting you an early pantheon and making sure that you can get a religion with any pantheon you want. And the fact that you can choose pantheons, and I think I'm sure God of the Expanse is good, but you could actually try some of the other ones like Tutelary or the classic God of Open Sky, which is always amazing. Or, you know, whatever else, depending on what's around you. You might even be able to make a renewal thing work or something like that. Yeah, and it's actually probably enough to get you first religion, because it's a lot more early faith than you'll get from many other sources, and just from founding cities, which you want to do anyway. Probably you don't even need to build shrines first to get first or around first religion. Yeah, I think it's a great start, and the 70 bonus gold is really nice as well. Like, it's one of the main things that makes Carthage really good, and you get, about a bit more than half the amount. So it allows you to buy some early units if you want, buy monuments and stuff, get going quickly. Authority makes sense as a way to go, but it would help you with tradition or progress, because it just helps you with getting a religion. Conquistadors, replacement knight with 2 extra bonus combat strength. Oh, they don't have the penalty to attacking cities, am I right? An extra site, or 2 extra site maybe, and you can found city, so they're basically like pioneers. I think it's like a similar amount of buildings you get, so, but they have to be overseas, I think, so they have to be not on the original continent that you're on. But basically a pioneer available at chivalry, or just a better knight. And who doesn't love better knights? I mean, yeah. I actually didn't know that they didn't have the combat penalty to attacking cities. Wow, you can smash some people with these then. The high cinders as well. So +1 gold, food and production, and then you get these bonuses to adjacent tiles. This sounds pretty good to me, because you might not want to work the tile necessarily, but there's no negative to building it, because you just build it next to other things that, if there's better tiles, you can just work them, but they'll have more yield, thanks to the fact that they have a cinder next to them. Let's have one and see if they do scale a bit as well, and also what they'll give. Ah, so I'm just wrong about that. It's the adjacent tiles that make the high cinders better. Okay. I didn't actually get that far in the game when I tried to play these guys, because you do need machinery, which is a little bit late. It's halfway through medieval. Okay, that is interesting though. Does it scale with some text? It actually doesn't. Okay. Need fertilizer or 1+ from architecture. Oh, I thought they gave the bonus yields to the other tiles. Man, that would be significantly better, I think. Interesting. Okay, I'm bumping them down then from where I was going to put them, because it's not quite... I don't know how useful these would actually be. Maybe you could have 1 or 2 good ones, but I don't think they're spectacular. And like, I don't know, if I built one like here, well, what's even giving that the bonus? Is it the stone that we don't even know about yet? So, okay. So you get the bonus yields for tiles you haven't even found yet. Wow, it's a nice way of scouting where you're going to have coal or whatever. Although there's quite a few late game strategic, so you probably couldn't narrow down which one it is. 2 gold. Okay. Okay. They seem reasonable, but yeah, probably not as good as some of the other unique improvements. And then this is just because they're available earlier, but they're a unique unit, I think. But the free religion is really nice, and the bonus gold at the start. So I think I'm going to keep them in S, which is where I was originally going to put them. I'm going to keep them where I was going to put them, actually. Slightly above Russia, just because it's a guaranteed religion. And yeah, you don't necessarily need a Stonehenge or get lucky with the Pantheon. And I think it is better than Carthage because you get half the gold, but you get the faith as well to give you a religion. So yeah. Okay, only a few more to go, you know. Sweden next. Sweden. Now, I've heard a lot of good things about Sweden. Melee land units plus 20% strength when attacking, and siege units have plus 1 movement. Military units are healed and plus 15 experience when a Great General is born. Great General combat bonus increased by 15%. So, yeah. Definitely authority stuff, loads of combat bonuses in there. The plus 15 experience. So it works really well with the idea of having the land melee units and the siege units, which is, like I said, the best way to go with authority. The bonus experience is really useful on the siege units because you want to get them up to range, volley, and you can build siege weapons early and then keep getting great generals and getting more and more experience on them. And the plus 1 movement is nice because, as I mentioned earlier, allows you to move into enemy territory because it's 1 additional movement. So if they have 3 movement, they can use 2 to get into enemy territory and then fire. Forgot to mention about Songhai that the running along rivers allows siege weapons to get into enemy territory as well, so that's another pro for them. Military units are full healed as well, so you can actually kind of play around this as well if you're paying attention to it. You can just make sure that you keep this menu open when you're not looking at the text so that you know exactly when it's coming. And yeah, 15% extra Great General combat bonus. And you will get Great Generals, so very, very powerful. Carolean is a unique tercio as well, like I said, a very nice unit to have a unique version of. March, so they heal every turn. Extra bonus from Great Generals. When you advance, deal 10 flank damage is alright, and the normal formation. Yeah, pretty cool. 4 extra combat strength as well, 29 is quite a bit, to be honest. And then this scholar is a unique public school. Plus 1 culture for every 3 citizens and plus 1 science for every citizen. So actually quite a bit extra. Public school is just plus 1 for every 4. So you will get a significant amount more yields from this. But it is very late, obviously. Scientific theory is still what you need, which is not what you'd normally go for as military as well. You want to go rifling to upgrade Caroleans into Fusiliers and military science and stuff. So it's kind of a bit of an irrelevant building, really, I would say. Probably never gonna actually win you a game since it's too late, and way too late because you wouldn't even rush for it usually. Amazing combat bonuses though. and just works amazingly with the siege weapon melee weapon plan. This 20% strength on land melee units is actually pretty noticeable early. Like, it helps you kill barb camps to get your bonus heals with that, and can help with early wars as well. Yeah, big bonuses from the Great Generals. Most people will tell you this is like the authority civ, but I'm actually going to stick it in A, but it is going to be high A. Do you know what? I'm actually going to put it behind Denmark. I feel like there's just no economic bonuses to actually help you get to the gunpowder. And yeah, that's really the main issue. Like, fighting with units to take down is still going to be difficult even with these bonuses. And you'll have to wait a while to actually do good stuff. The game may have passed you by at this point. You know, I just imagine games like the Zulu game I just played. We wouldn't have had... It would have been a struggle to get to the point. Like, yeah. I don't think it would have helped us that much in that game, but obviously it's great once you start snowballing, and it does have enough to help you do that. I think Denmark is really good as well, really, and so are the Incans. So all of these are quite similar, but we shall have Sweden at the top. Okay, Venice next. Oh, sorry, Sweden, where it is there. Which I think is reasonable. I don't know, I'm sure a lot of people would put it in S. But just no economic bonuses and no help with religion is the main problem. You'd love to have that religion with the bonus Great General points. And yeah, whatever. It's going there. Enrico Dandolo of Venice. No settlers. You can't annex cities, but you get puppets instead, and they have less yield penalties than normal puppets. Quite significantly less. Free merchant of Venice at trade, and so you can basically either settle these new colonia cities, which have they have a monument and a market in them, I think, and 3 population, and they are puppet cities. I think you're allowed 5 of them, it seemed like, when I tested it, but you can also purchase city-states. You get all of their units, and you get their city as well, but it turns into a puppet. You can buy stuff with gold and gain normal happiness in your puppet, so you will never have any happiness problems really, because they don't get normal unhappiness, but they do get normal happiness. So yeah, you'll always be way below the needs threshold, and because puppets don't count towards your empire size needs threshold anyway, yeah, you won't have any unhappiness basically. Free merchant of Venice at trade. You get free merchant of Venices for the things like pyramids or Imperium, where you would normally get a free settler. You get a free merchant of Venice as well, and you get double trade routes, and trade target restrictions removed basically means you can send multiple trade routes to the same place. So when you get to trade, you'll also get 2 trade routes instead of 1, and then you can send them. If you have 2 cities, you can send them both to the same one city, if that's what you want to do. Yeah, and trade routes from puppets are fine, because like I said, trade routes don't get affected by yield modifiers, so there's no percentage change on them from the fact that it's done from a puppet city, which is nice. You can use them as a great merchant as well, though I doubt you would do that. Then you get this unique building, so you need writing for it. Plus 33% great people rate, extra unit supply, which is very nice. And then it unlocks these later buildings and gives you some of all these yields. It's a unique national monument, which I don't think has a pop requirement. Rialto District, so you get one choice out of these next buildings, which are available at guilds. Cost of gold purchases reduced by 10%. Product one additional delegate for every 100 gold per turn. Trade routes generate plus 3 gold. Arsenal of the Venetia, plus 15% production in the city, increases the unit supply cap by 5 again. And more extra from population, 10% combat strength and plus 1 movement. All boats made, plus 3 defense, plus 15% production. So a military focused one, a statecraft focused one, and then this is like an artistry focused one. Unique building for Venice. Great person improvements and villages worked by all cities gain plus 2 food and plus 2 tourism. 2 additional great works of slots. So this is pretty bad. I mean, plus 2 food and tourism. It kind of used to be good when you had the tourism penalty from every non-puppet city, but that's not such a thing anymore, so feels like this is not so necessary for tourism victory. And yeah, food and tourism are not the best yields to get. It's all going to be hoping that you can get a tourism victory, but not helping you actually like survive or anything, or in any other way. Yeah, some nice bonus yields at writing. The pop requirements on those buildings are not really an issue, because you actually should have decent pop once you settle a couple of colonias. I don't mind Venice. You can actually have quite a nice start with them. The main problem is religion. You only have one main city, so it would be really great to have a religion in it, but not only do you not get any bonuses, you actually get like negatives because your puppeted cities they produce less faith. So if you build a shrine, and your colonias will normally build a shrine first, but it will only give 1 faith basically, rather than 2, which kind of sucks. But I don't mind playing them. The early game feels decent. I feel like if you ignore religion, I don't know if there are many ways that will get you a religion. Like, you could go Stonehenge first with the God of Beauty, and then, but you'd probably need to build another wonder here, and maybe another one, and I still don't know if that would be enough on competitive religious games. I feel like if you want a religion, you have to like go for it right from the start, and you still might not even get it, which is pretty sad. If you just ignore religion, then you can build pyramids, just settle an extra city, and then get another city. You'll get these bonus yields with no additional cost to your techs or policies, and yeah, you can go for like God of Creation and just build some wonders, get University of Sancor. You know, usually you are going to want to go for tradition, and then probably the statecraft is the better. Out of all the 3 additional buildings, the statecraft focus one is probably the best, giving you the bonus delegates, the gold purchasing cost, and the bonus money from trade routes. You can seriously get a lot of money from trade routes as Venice, though they can be difficult to keep alive, so many of them, especially without maybe a proper army. The other thing that's interesting with Venice is that your bonus yields, so instant yields, are not affected by puppet penalty costs. So if you can get like an instant yield strategy going, they can actually be pretty good. The tribute policy springs to mind, the expertise policy springs to mind, and like I said, religion, there is a lot of ways you could have really good religions, they're just tough to get. And even if you did get one, you would still suffer from the fact that you would have much lower faith than you would usually, so you would struggle to reform it and stuff like that and actually spread it out. I did do a pretty awesome game as Venice a while ago when the patch was quite easy and it wasn't really, you could basically get religion in quite a few different ways, so I managed to get it in kind of a funky way and then have like a really strong late game. And I actually went for like a mix of, I think, tradition, authority for the Imperium for the extra city, and culture, extra culture from killing camps, tribute policy heals. Then I went down for expertise. I did a lot of weird stuff, to be honest. Very fun game, ended up being very powerful, but that's not really a way to actually play, I don't think, because you would not be able to get a religion these days, and without a religion it would be much worse. Some sort of authority tradition mix, maybe. When you buy a city-state, you get all their units, so you can kind of use them to try and maybe take out someone weak. But nah, I don't really see it. Feel like best way is probably tradition, ignore religion, get pyramids. You should be able to get University of Sancor, maybe Parthenon and stuff as well, and you'll just have to try and snowball from there with a pretty decent start that you will get from playing Venice. Another thing to mention, Venice is kind of at the whim of a lot of balance changes which don't necessarily, intend to affect Venice. Like, when puppets randomly get changed, that actually didn't affect the Colonias, the fact that they didn't build buildings for the last patch, although that's been changed back now anyway for the next patch, but it wasn't affecting the Colonias, but it did affect, I think, city-states that you bought. But yeah, when stuff like that gets changed, when the city governor gets changed, because you can't choose what tile the city works, and man, the governor is funky, man. And not being able to control it is annoying. It loves food. Sometimes it will work specialists, which is cool because they can generate specialists, but sometimes it won't. And sometimes it will just work merchant specialists, which are the worst ones, although at least you can get merchant of Venices, but yeah, often it will kind of work rubbish stuff and build rubbish stuff, and random changes can just affect Venice quite a lot. Yeah, I think maybe if you specialise as a Venice player, it could be a reasonable civ. I feel like you'd have to play it often though, and if you just play general civs, it's very, very different. So it's a tough one to play. And I'm gonna have to say it's fairly bad. I'm sticking it in low D tier. The early game is nice not having to build settlers though, and you actually have enough production to build trade routes, send international trade routes, get a lot of yields through them, but you can run out of stuff to buy, and your science will struggle later on, thanks to the fact that you only really have one main city. And yeah, I don't know if it's best for tourism now. Oh, do you know what? I did see in the new patch, there was actually some really quite significant change to happiness, which actually could bring Venice back as one of the only authority civs that you can actually conquer the world easily with. It seemed to me like happiness is going to be a massive problem when you're trying to conquer the world in the new patch. I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not going to adjust anything based on it, and it could easily get changed back, but removing the happiness cap, say in the Zulus game, if happiness wasn't capped in some of my cities, they would be on 150, 100 happiness, I swear. So, man, managing happiness is going to be rough for World Conquest. Venice could be the way in future, but I'll stick him there for now. Final Civ is the Zulus. As I've mentioned, we are in a game with them right now, though it is using unique components, so we do have some additional stuff. Melee and gun units 50% less maintenance, all units require 25% less experience for promotions, more effective at intimidating city-states. I don't think this is as good as the Mongolia one. I didn't get to do any tributing really, that was slightly out of choice and out of location. Impy, unique tercios, 3 extra combat strength, this spear throw thing, which is alright, really good against other infantry like tercios. Unit has an extra attack. I think that the extra attack, my theory is that it's basically a ranged attack, but it just uses your base combat strength. So because you don't have any ranged combat modifiers, it's just like a flat 28, whereas usually when you attack someone, you'd have like plus 50 or more % from flanking bonus and all that stuff. And it does take an extra movement, which is a little bit annoying as well. Which is weird because I don't think the giant death robot extra attack does that. Grants unique promotions to all melee units. So this is a unique barracks, but you have to go for bronze working instead of military theory. Plus 15% experience for all units, increases the military supply cap by 2 instead of 1, which is normal, I think. So this is normal stuff. But you get this bonus promotion. Does it say what the promotion is? Oh, what? So 10% combat strength when attacking, 2 experience when you spend a turn unembarked in enemy territory, so can help your infantry get a lot of experience. So this is only for melee infantry units. But you get access to these 3 promotions. I believe this is the final one. I believe this is the second one. Buffalo chest, so plus 10% combat strength, plus 25 hit points. Pretty significant amount, and it's basically a free heal as well for 25 hit points. Because when you do that, yeah. You get 25 bonus when you do the upgrade instantly. Flanking bonus increased by 33%. Alright, whatever. And then Buffalo Loins, plus 1 movement is real nice, man. So basically you always go through these promotions, and you can get through them quicker thanks to the Zulu bonus. But you go for those 3, and then it basically gives you access to all of these additional promotions that you would normally get on melee units for completing either Shock 3 or Drill 3. Unfortunately, you don't actually get Amphibious, which was actually slightly annoying, because you don't get promotions that are available from... I don't know, it just didn't give me that. But all these other ones, Woodsman was nice. I ended up going for Blitz. There's 3 movement with Blitz. It allows you to attack and then move out, so another unit can attack. I then went for Mobility. So 4 movement units with Blitz. They were getting really high experience for all the attacks they were using. And obviously you level them up quicker thanks to the fact that they're Zulus. And then I went for, some of them went for like stalwart cover, some of them went for march, some of them went for the woodsman. You can kind of do a lot of things at that point. But they were really strong, and the specific Impy like power spike was pretty nuts with that bonus attack. I took out I went from 0 to like 3 civs. Obviously they make a great defense unit for the siege weapons to do what they want, and it allows the siege weapons to get to range quicker than they usually would, which is really nice. Actually, I think I would go Blitz mobility, and then city assault, and then like drill up to drill 3. Actually, city assault doesn't actually give you as much damage to cities as drill, because drill technically gives you 35% strength when attacking cities, but it does reduce the damage you take, so that's quite nice. Yeah, man. The combat was pretty strong in that one. I would say though that the Akanda, so going bronze working, like I said, I'm not a fan of. I think I built that statue of Zeus, which I would never normally do, but needed the free barracks anyway for the free Ilkwa. I did get a religion with God of Protection, because that gives one bonus faith for each barracks, and I was going to build the barracks anyway, but I think I only got that because I had some faith natural wonders, so I don't think you're likely to get a religion as the Zulus. This is only plus an additional culture compared to what a barracks would be. So no real economic bonuses. Yeah, I didn't really get any tributes, though they could be nice, but I don't think it's like super powerful tributing stuff, and you'll need to build a load of spearmen probably if you want to do that, which then you'll have the old pikeman issue. I tell you one thing, we'll rate them first. We will rate them first. I'm putting them in A, and I'm putting them slightly below Japan and above Rome. You know, the plan is clear: get to gunpowder and use the MP to start conquering, at which point you're laughing generally, but no real help to actually get you there. You know, the Buffalo promotions are nice earlier on for some war stuff, but no extra science or culture, and getting to gunpowder is quite difficult without bonus science. And yeah, no help with religion, so I'm sticking them there. One more reason why Tercio and unique Tercios are really good is because of Landschnitz. I was kind of considering that Landschnet purchasing into unique Tercio units would be a strong strategy, and trying it out is even better than I thought. I may not even bother building longswordsmen in a lot of games where I'm authority from now, because the Landschnets are a lot more flexible in terms of, if you're waiting for gunpowder to attack someone, it's nice to just be able to buy this unit when you need it, and then it can instantly help you defend a city, because probably you'll be defending until you can attack with cannons. Also, don't need iron, which means you can sell your iron, and you can probably sell your iron for more than 200 gold. So you basically end up getting your money back, and the only thing you miss out on is the cover promotion, but instead you get can pillage without using movement, and you get this gold when you attack cities. So any unique Tercio that you might consider actually going for like drill and attacking cities with works really well with Landschnitz. Whereas I guess normally with Tercios you probably wouldn't go drill, you'd just leave it up to the cannons, but when they're like 29 combat strength and stuff, you can use them to attack cities, and the Landschnet promotion repays you even more. Then you already get money back from having a spare iron. Okay, so this is the final list, and yeah, let's read them out in order here. So Songhai, number 1, Crazy Mandakalu's crazy early game. Poland, much better late game, but slight early game weakness. Mongolia, really nice with the horse archers. Celts, Pictish warriors for tributing, for getting your religion, and then some nice bonus pantheons. Byzantium for the free religion with the bonus relief that belief that can be very powerful, and a nice unique knight as well. Okay, whatever. Spain, Russia, Carthage, Netherlands, Egypt. Do you know what? I'm going to bump down Egypt to highest of A tiers, just because there isn't necessarily one proper strat on Egypt that will necessarily win you the game. I feel like you could have a really good game as tradition or authority, or maybe even progress with loads of burial tombs, giving you basically 5 science and culture from each one, but probably tradition or authority, but neither of them is like perfect, you know, and no help with religion, other than war chariots helping you build Stonehenge probably. So yeah, and also, you know, you could have the wrong land, like lots of rough land or coastland where it's tough to use the war chariots, so I'm just going to stick them in very confident, but it is the best one city challenge civ. I'm still pretty certain of that. Maybe you could argue Poland. Incans next, Denmark, Sweden, Japan, Zulus, Rome, Arabia, Morocco are in A tier. Yeah, I would feel good about... Do you know what? Morocco might have to get a move down as well. Would I really feel that great about getting Morocco? I would feel like early game could be a bit questionable, and is late game that amazing to make up for it? I'll leave him in A. No, I'm not very confident on them. Okay, Attila next, Brazil, Ethiopia, Austria, Babylon, India, Assyria, Persia, Greece. Yeah, okay. These may be a borderline, but yeah. Portugal, America, England, to be fair, disclaimer for England, I don't really know where they should go because I haven't tried out the new spy system. So I'm guessing here, but I could be way off on that. America, Polynesia, Iroquois and Indonesia are not sure. Quite worried is Ottomans, Mayans, Korea, China, France and Venice. Though I'd probably back myself on France. I'm excited to try them actually, probably in a series or two. I just did a world conquest, so I doubt I'd play France next. Probably something a bit different, but yeah. Shoshone, Germany and then Siam are going to be my F tier civs. Yeah, I don't know, maybe on a different day I would move some of these around. It's quite hard to be like, have a good current feeling on all of the civs because I do play a reasonable amount of civ, but I don't play that much, like, so when stuff gets changed I can't necessarily try it all out, and yeah, each series takes a while to do actually, so that's definitely slowed me down in the amount of games I've been playing. But yeah, that is that. I hope you guys somewhat agree, or, you know, I hope you found this of interest. Maybe I gave some good strategies to try with each civ. I think I tried to give like what I think is the best strategy with each civ as well, since that's pretty much what you're going to base their power around, unless they're like super flexible to the point where you can do different things depending on how the game starts, which is only a slight bonus compared to just having a really solid strat that you can go for. Yeah, let me know what you guys think though. and let me know if you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more like this, probably my next somewhat more, educational video will either be on playing as authority or religions, maybe religious beliefs. So let me know what you prefer out of them, I guess. And I need to decide who I'm going to play for my next series as well. Might take a few days to decide, Got some other plans I want to do. Oh yeah, Zulu's series not over yet, but I'm assuming we get that one done. We're in a pretty good position there. Check that one out if you haven't seen it. That should be a fun finish. Hopefully it will come out very, very soon. I'm excited to try the new patch as well. I feel like that should be pretty fun. Seems like some interesting changes. But yeah, we've got to choose a civ for the next series. I'll probably do a live stream as well, actually. I'll probably do a live stream on Saturday, I would guess. But maybe some other evening. I'll try and schedule it so that people know beforehand. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed my tier list video. Probably, I'm sure we'll do one with unique components in the future. Maybe that can be 1,000 sub goal if we ever reach that. Though that could be quite a while actually. We'll see. Alright guys, I'll see you all soon hopefully.